Okay, so today I'll be teaching my big sister on the prisoner's dilemma. And I'll be reciting a poem that will hopefully help her understand it. If she doesn't seem to understand this very well, I'll go to the chart and use that as an explanation. And maybe the combination of the two things I'll be using to teach her may help her understand what the prisoner's dilemma is. And then she'll explain it to a friend of mine while I'm out of the room. And she'll determine whether she really understands it. Okay. The prisoner's dilemma. It's a poli-sci simulation. Two prisoners face incrimination. The police keep them separated, giving each the same interrogation. Each hears this information. If neither snitches on the other, both will spend 2 years in prison. If prisoner 1 tells on prisoner 2, then prisoner 1 gets liberation, while prisoner 2 gets the punishment of 10 years of incarceration. If prisoner 2 snitches, then prisoner 2 gets liberation, while prisoner 1 gets the punishment of 10 years of incarceration. Here's the worst option. If both happen to snitch, then each gets 7 years in prison, complicating the situation and maximizing the misfortune. The prisoner's dilemma is certainly one heck of a way to display human nature. Both likely will turn traitor by telling on the other. In trying to help themselves, they give themselves the worst option. Since they tell on each other, each gets 7 years in prison. The prisoner's dilemma demonstrates in a test that simply acting on self-interest may be the worst for you, not the best. The most logical action in this poli-sci simulation is them choosing not to snitch, so each gets 2 years in prison. It's the most ideal situation and the best possible option, but the prisoner's dilemma shows that it's the least likely to happen. The prisoners likely turn traitor to avoid incarceration. The snitches won't get stitches, they get 7 years in prison. Only trying to help themselves can be most detrimental to you. Doing what's best for the group may be the wisest thing to do. So, in case you didn't understand that, there's a chart here that will also be able to explain it. As I said before, if both decide not to snitch and they both keep quiet, each gets 2 years in prison. If prisoner 1 rats out prisoner 2, and prisoner 2 doesn't rat out prisoner 1, then prisoner 2 gets 10 years in prison, while prisoner 1 gets 0 years in prison. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's say prisoner 2 rats out prisoner 1, and prisoner 1 doesn't rat out prisoner 2. If that happens, prisoner 1 gets 10 years in prison, prisoner 2 gets 0 years in prison. Now, they both know that the other might rat the other out. So for that reason, they might both rat each other out. And as I said before, that's the most likely option to occur. That being said, they're most likely to both get 7 years in prison each. They're both ratting each other out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So even though they're trying to work for their best interest, they're trying to save themselves, but they're giving themselves the worst option by working for themselves. But if they work for the collective group, in doing so, they actually give themselves the best option, which is 2 years in prison each, which is a total of 4 years, which is less than everything else. Does that make sense? So it's a whole issue of like, should I help myself or should I help the group? And in helping the group, it doesn't mean that only helping yourself will always be bad for you. There's some situations where it can be good for you, but this is just a scenario in which doing what's best for yourself will actually be the worst for you. Does that make sense? I'm sure you can probably think of prisoner's dilemma situations before. Maybe you're in class or something, and you and a friend of yours are goofing off, maybe when you were little, and the teacher's like, who was talking? If no one tells me who's talking, then everybody gets time out or something like that, right? So you have to weigh your options. Should I do what's best for myself or what's best for the group? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in scenarios like this, it's kind of hard to find out a solution for it, right? You don't know if prisoner 2 is going to rat on prisoner 1. You don't know if prisoner 1 is going to rat out prisoner 2.
So you keep quiet.
So you keep quiet and hope the other person does it. But there's a good chance that they might rat you out if you do, which is why this is almost always the option that they'll go for, in this scenario specifically, right? So a solution to this usually tends to be something called a government, right? But a government will do 3 things. It will, I actually have a paper that helps describe this really well. Let's see. For solutions to the prisoner's dilemma, if I can find it. Okay, so solutions to this would be a government, as I said before. there needs to be some set of rules of some sort, right? So in this case, maybe let's say the two prisoners are criminals, right? And they work for the mafia. This is an example that my teacher gave, right? The mafia has a certain set of rules, like, you know, if you snitch, we're gonna come kill you while you're in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. I don't know how legit that is, but with rules like that, it's gonna kind of put the fear of God in you not to talk, and in both keeping quiet by following the rules given to you by an overbearing government. You're actually doing what's best for yourself, right? Another thing that can happen is there needs to be some way to monitor compliance, right? So maybe something like an inside man, maybe an inside policeman who's kind of watching the scene, just trying to see if one will rat on the other, right? To make sure they're following those rules, right? And then finally, some means to sanction violations. In other words, some way to punish, right? And in that case, the mafia boss will be like, oh, okay, so the person monitoring y'all found out that one of y'all snitched on the other. Now it's my job to send someone to go punish you, right? So to sanction the violations that occur, right? So in this case, there's actually the three branches of government that are displayed in this scenario. There's the legislative branch, which sets the rules, right? There's the executive branch, which will monitor compliance, make sure everyone's following those rules. And then there's the judicial branch, which will sanction those violations and provide a punishment, right? So I'm just going to go over this one more time real quick. The prisoner's dilemma is a scenario where prisoner 1 and prisoner 2 are both likely to face incrimination. If prisoner 2 rats out prisoner 1 and prisoner 1 doesn't rat out prisoner 2, then prisoner 1 gets 10 years in prison, prisoner 2 gets 0 years in prison. Let's say prisoner 1 rats out prisoner 2, and prisoner 2 doesn't rat out prisoner 1. Player 1 gets 0 years in prison, while prisoner 2 gets 10 years in prison, right? If they both rat each other out, they both get 7 years in prison, which is the worst option, right? The best option is for them to both keep quiet and do what's best for the group. In doing so, at least in this scenario, it can be the best option. Remember, prisoner's dilemma doesn't mean that if you work for the group, it'll be the best option for you. It can be the best option, right? So do you think you understand this? If you have any question, just ask me, because I'm going to leave the room for like a minute or so, and you're hopefully going to explain it to Anne. You have an idea of what the prisoner's dilemma is, right? So you can confirm whether she got it right or wrong, right? And be honest with me. Like, be honest with me if she did it right. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so, and you can even use this, do whatever you want, right? I'm just going to, are you ready? Okay, so I'm going to leave the room, and then you just knock on the glass when I should return. You know what I'm saying? Like, knock on it if she got it right, I guess. Okay. Awesome.
Okay, so the prisoner's dilemma is if player 1 rats out player 2, then player 1 gets 10 years in prison, but player 2 gets 0 years. And then for player 2, if both of them rat each other out, they each get 10 years. And if they don't rat each other out, they get the less of, which is 2 years if they keep quiet. And if player 1 keeps quiet, but player 2 doesn't, he gets 10 years and the other player gets none.
I think it's flipped. So if player 1 rats out player 2, he'll get,
then
player
he'll
1
get
gets 0,
and then player 2 gets 10. So the person that rats out gets less years.
Yeah, they're ratting the other person out.
Okay.
Yeah, so they would put the blame on them.
So let's say if player 1 rats out player 2, player 1 gets the lesser years.
Yeah.
Okay. And if player 2 rats out player 1, player 2 gets the lesser years.
Yeah.
And if they don't rat out each other, then they get 2 years each.
Yeah.
But if they both rat each other out, they get 7 years each.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
Okay.
Okay.